Welcome, everybody, to the Choose Happy podcast. I'm your host, Nazy Javid. We're vodcasting today as well, so we've got video here online. But I wanted to come on. I have a very special guest with me. If you're watching, you can see. If you're listening, let me tell you. She is, I guess, the person who's known me for the most of my life, for my whole life. She is my mom, and today is my 40th birthday, and I invited her on to kind of give me some perspective on what she's learned since she was 40. So she can maybe give me some life hacks or tips that I may not have known otherwise. So welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Thank you for coming on. I know it's not easy, but you have a personality for TV too. I got it, from somewhere, right? So listen, how's your day going?
My day's going great. Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I cannot believe I'm 40 years old. I do not feel 40. I don't know what 40 feels like, but I definitely don't feel it. I feel young and youthful and energetic, and I want to stay that way. So as I started to get to my 40th birthday, I can't believe I'm 40. It's so weird. Like just yesterday I was 39, now I'm 40. It's so strange. But I started thinking like, okay, what are the things that change? This is a whole nother decade. Like I remember my 20s were like one way, and then my 30s were completely different than my 20s. And so I'm like, are my 40s going to be completely different than my 30s? I don't know. And maybe there are things that I should be doing to prepare my mental health, my emotional health, my physical health, my life, my future, my planning. Like I got to start thinking about it. This is pretty serious. I'm probably almost halfway through my life if I live like a full, good, healthy life, right? So thinking about approaching that halfway mark is pretty scary. So I asked you to make a list of things that you have learned along the way, maybe things that you would have told yourself when you were 40 years old that you've learned since then that you wish somebody had told you then.
Yes.
And you made a list.
Yes,
and the first thing you have on there is that you would tell your 40-year-old self that everything is going to be okay. So yes. What did you mean by that?
You know, what I meant by that is sometimes we put too much pressure on ourselves and worry too much. But I've changed, and I have the mindset of being positive about whatever situation I'm coming into, and it's going to be okay. No matter what happens, it's going to be okay.
You say you've changed. What do you mean by that? Like, what did you learn that helped you change?
What did I learn that helped me change?
Or what were you like before that you changed from?
I was a worrywart. I would worry about everything and what if, and what if this happened or that happened? And I couldn't continue living that way. So, I just had a different mindset, took better care of my mental health so I didn't worry so much, and realized that everything will pass. You're not going to stay in that place forever. It does get better.
That's really encouraging. And what do you think it is that helped you get to that perspective?
Well, just going on in life. My faith is a big part of it. I pray about everything and anything and all day long. And I think that's what really has brought me through from my 20s, 30s, and 40s and 50s.
Yeah. I mean, let's talk about you a little bit so people can kind of get to know you. You had me really young, right? You were 18?
Yeah.
Which is an awesome benefit to me now because, we have that closeness in age, but, I'm sure that was scary for you at that time. And, a new responsibility, a new life, and I'm sure that you got to 40 and you learned some lessons from when you were 18. When you embarked on your 40-year-old life, where were you? What stage were you in at that time in your life?
But you mean family-wise or?
Just anything. Like, what was your life like when you turned 40? Do you remember your 40th birthday?
Yeah, I do remember my 40th birthday. I came across a picture the other day of it, my memories. 40, I think 30s were crazy. So 40, I felt a little more mature and more responsible. I took life a little bit more serious, I think. And but I knew everything was going to be okay. I was making better choices for my life and my family. And when you do that, you feel good about yourself when you're doing the right thing and making the right choices for yourself and your family.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I definitely feel like I'm in a place in life right now where I'm confident in the decisions that I'm making.
Right?
I can fight my own battles. I don't need to run to my parents or even my husband. And God bless him, he fights my battles for me if I want him to. But I don't need him to. We're an equal team and we support each other. And I feel like that's something that I have gained in my 30s now. As I approach this 40-year decade,
Mm.
I learned how to be stronger on my own. So that's definitely something going into this decade that I didn't have before. What's something that you had when you were in your 40-year, that decade of like you just turned 40? Maybe something specific. You mentioned that you would tell your 40-year-old self to take risks.
Yes, take risks. I was a safety girl, so I did everything that was safe. I never took any risks. And I wish I would have, I can't think of any now, but I wish I would have taken more risks. Even today, I, try to push myself to do more out of my comfort zone
Yeah.
because it helped you to grow.
Sure does. I'm the same way. I'm a safety, like let's stay in the same, like I don't, it's definitely difficult. Like I always admire the people that are like, you know what, I want to go like work at a marine biology place and no experience, no family there, no
Yeah.
savings, like no plan, and they'll quit the job and go pursue their dream. I love those people. I admire
Yes.
them because I don't have that. I've got to have like a 10-step plan in place with a manual before I make a next step.
Good
And
too.
sometimes that's good, but sometimes it doesn't serve me because it's like, what else could I be doing that I'm not? But I do feel though, like with age, I've gotten a lot braver about just throwing myself out there and like
Yeah.
not worrying so much about what people think, because before I would like always worry, like, what do they think about what's coming out of my mouth? Now I don't really care. It's like life is too short. Like I'm 40 years old now.
Yes.
I have a
You're
different
40.
perspective. I'm 40 now. I was 39 yesterday. I am 40 today.
Yes, you are.
Something else you put on your list was learn something new and often. You put that to you would tell your 40-year-old self to learn something new and often. What's something that you wish you had learned back then?
Well, um, a few things. I kind of learned, picked up on photography seriously back then in my 40s. I kind of dabbled with it as a young kid. My grandmother used to take pictures all the time, so I think I got it from her.
Oh my gosh,
And
you take pictures of everything all the time. I know that
yeah,
if I ever need a picture, you have something somewhere, which I love. And I think I got that from you too. And
yeah, I was gonna say, I think
that's
you do the same thing.
now I do that for a living and they pay me to do it. So it actually worked out.
Yeah, so I wanted to concentrate on something that I love to do and that I enjoyed doing. And so photography was it. I got myself a good camera and continued taking pictures of everything. You can't get all the good pictures on your camera phone.
Right.
And I'm still learning, I'm improving on it. So I think it's gonna, and it's good to document, for
Yes.
history and your family. And so I enjoy it and I improve on it every time I bring that camera out.
I'm glad you mentioned that because, whenever I would have pictures in college, I would always bring them to you because I knew that I was moving around. I was going all over the country and like I just have boxes. I still have boxes of like one-use cameras that I haven't developed. Like
Oh,
I knew that I needed to give somebody the pictures to have because I didn't think I was responsible enough to keep them. So I'm glad I did that because I know you had a lot of those. However, then the fire happened
yes.
and you lost all of the physical pictures. However, you had spent so much time like documenting everything digitally, which I think really was a huge benefit to us because now we have all of that
Yes.
still, even though it's not in paper form.
Yeah.
Which who prints out pictures today anymore, anyways?
Right.
It's very rare. I do when I want to frame them and stuff, but yeah,
Yeah.
you document a lot on digital, and I think you even got me a laptop once because you wanted me to like do that, to keep track of everything and save
Yes.
everything, and it helps having those digital files.
Mhm.
Next on your list, you put master something you are good at. So, that was your photography, and you're still
Yes.
improving. And then you said it's important to keep up to date with family and friends, no matter how close or far you are to each other.
So important.
So let's talk about kind of like your experience with family. that got you to that point where you realized like, okay, I need to put more energy into staying in touch with my peeps?
Yes, especially during COVID. I think I was in a place where I didn't want to, I don't know, I wouldn't pick up the phone as often as I had before. I don't know why, but I have two brothers or three brothers that always were bugging me on the phone and calling me. And I felt bad that they were always the ones to reach out to me. So I made it a point to, reciprocate and call them, once a week or whenever, any hour they pick up the phone. And, it's important. It's very important.
It really is, that got me thinking because I'm kind of that way too, where like I have so many people that are important to me in my life. And for the most part, they are always the ones that reach out to me. And I'm a loyal friend and I'm always there and I'm physically there most of the time, but I'm not typically the first one to reach out, not because I don't want to, just because I just, the good friends that I have,
Yeah.
that's the relationship we have. They reach out and I check in, of course, with my
Yeah.
people, but like, for example, my best friend Trinity, who, I would love to dedicate this episode to, because she would have been 39 on May 7th. And we always celebrated our birthdays together. And so we would have been celebrating, this year, but
Yes.
she obviously tragically lost her life. If listeners don't know, she died from brain cancer in 2020 in the middle of the pandemic. It was a really, really heartbreaking time. And she battled that for 10 years and she was a survivor and she fought and she had so much faith. And, I held her hand and I watched her as she was, dying from cancer, and she couldn't speak and she couldn't eat on her own. And she could only hold up the "I love you" sign to me. When we knew it was the last time we were going to see each other, she did that. And I'm sobbing. And so what I like to think about in this situation is I am very lucky that I get to be 40. I'm lucky that I get to see this. Is somebody there trying to come into your podcast? Okay, we're in the middle of we'll get back to you on that. We're live. We're live.
Sorry about that.
Side note, I was on the news yesterday and I forgot that we were live. We were recording. I thought we were recording something and we were actually live. So it happens. It happens to the best of us. But back to what I was saying. So when people are like, oh my God, I'm getting so old. Like, what, I'm like, listen, not everybody gets the privilege of seeing another birthday. And that's a lesson that Trinity taught me. And so I don't want to live in that space. I'm very grateful for another year, another day, another moment on this earth. And I know that I will see her again. That she, her passing was not in vain. She taught us, so many of us, the value of life and the time that we have here. So when you say it's important to keep up to date with family, that's really important, because the regret that I do have, and, Trinity and I were so close and we talked all the time and we were best friends forever. And we lived together and we, traveled together. We were two peas in a pod, but she always was the one to reach out to me. And I always responded, we always but I was always the one that was like, hey, I'm in the area, I'm coming over. I'm a in-person person, but she always did the calls and the texts and like, she initiated that. And after her passing, I felt like, man, I could have initiated more and I didn't. And that's a regret that I have. So I really think that that's a good piece of advice there, that family and friends are first. I think it's easy to get so caught up in the world and life and work and errands and doing things for other people that like we forget to take a minute and do something like this, like talk to your mom about life lessons but for this, I may not have this, life is not guaranteed. You could be, God forbid, not here tomorrow. I could be, God forbid, not here tomorrow. And I would regret not taking the initiative to ask you these things.
Yes.
So I'm glad I get to do that today. You mentioned talking on the phone more is something that you would tell yourself back then. I hate talking on the phone.
I do too.
I hate it. I hate it so much.
I could take it for a minute or two, but not a long conversationalist. But I've improved. That's
so good.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you say that, because I need to be better at that. I hate talking on the phone. I hate calling people and I hate answering the phone. And I hate checking voicemail. I'm like, listen, just text me or like leave me a voice note. We'll talk, I don't know, I got to work on that one. Talk on the phone more. You also said that what you've learned over the years is to be accepting of everyone. Your grandmother was the perfect example of that. Tell me about her, my great grandmother.
Great grandmother Nieves Pena. She was the sweetest
Was she the
woman.
little tiny one?
Yes, I don't think I taught. That's another thing I need to do more is tell family stories. I don't know why I was stuck in not doing that, but I've come out of that a little bit and tell because it makes me emotional, I think, so I don't do it.
Well, let's
But
talk about it. Don't pass this by and say we'll talk about it later. Let's talk about it now.
yeah, she was a sweetest woman, the kindest heart, and she taught me and my siblings how to love each other and other people. She was so accepting of everybody, no matter who they were. And this was
Oh,
in the 60s and 70s, so it was a little bit different, but everything good in me I learned from her as a young child.
was she the biggest influence in your
She
life?
was the biggest influence in my life. Yeah.
Where did you guys live at that time?
We lived in San Jose in the Willow Glen area.
Oh, how neat.
Yeah.
So did you live with her?
Yeah. So when my mother passed away at
So
a
let's
young
talk
age,
about that.
okay,
Let's talk about your mom, my birth
grandma.
grandmother. Yeah.
Yeah. So at 5 years old, she passed, and I have three brothers. One was 9, 7. I was 5, and my younger brother, 2 years younger than me. So we went to live with my grandparents, which we were with them all the time anyway when my mom was working. So it was,
What did
natural that we
sorry, what did she do for work? Was she a nurse?
use a nurse assistant. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So that must have been really tragic for you, obviously, at 5 years old. And your brothers were how old? Mom?
Uh, Johnny was 9 and George was 7.
Johnny was 9, George was 7, and you were 5. So
I was 5.
you were the
And
little.
yeah.
Um,
And
and
so
Uncle
Nacho was the youngest. He was like 3.
What do you remember about that? I know we're going off topic, but these are questions I've never asked you, so I feel
Yeah.
kind of compelled to ask you about that. Like, what do you remember when that happened?
I do remember when that happened. Kids kids are funny. They don't know how to regulate emotions. So I remember coming home from school at when I was in kindergarten, and I was walking through the gate, and my oldest brother bounced in and said, "Hey, mom died." And I was like, "What?"
Oh no.
And I didn't understand it.
What?
So, he
Who is
didn't
that?
know.
Uncle Johnny?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even know if he remembers it. Hopefully he doesn't watch it. But yeah. So I have little snapshots of my mom,
So he said, hey, mom died. And then did you
I,
process that at 5?
no, I don't think I processed that at all. I think I can't remember a whole lot after that, but I have little snippets of being in the hearse back in the day, they used to drive you in a,
Yeah. And yeah, you got to be in the vehicle?
not with my mom. No, they had a different one that
Oh,
carried the family to the place.
okay.
And they had these little seats in front of the regular seats for little people, for me and my brothers to sit. It was kind of weird. But yeah,
Oh,
I have little snippets of that. But about my mom, Rose, I remember going to places with her to protest. I don't know what she was protesting or what they were doing, but I remember as a little kid tagging along in the car with her.
no way.
Yes.
What a fun memory.
Yeah.
Was her middle name Victoria?
No middle name, just
What
Rose
was
Penn.
a Rose Pena? Okay. So, obviously because I never got to meet her, what was she like? What else do you know about her? Maybe that you don't remember, but that people told you when you got older.
Mm, she was a good cook, which I remember a little bit, but and it's funny I don't remember more because I remember always being with her, either with her or my grandmother all the time. Well, my grandfather too. He used to take care of us and get us ready for school and stuff. But I remember she was really pretty,
Oh yeah.
and
I've seen a picture of her.
yeah, I wish I could remember more, but I just get little snippets here and there in my brain.
So do you want to share how she passed, or do you want to?
Sure, I'll share how she passed. She died by suicide. She had a not troubled life. I think that my perspective is when that happens to somebody, they're in a really sorrowful, sad place. I don't think anybody really wants to commit suicide.
No, never. I mean, of course,
No, and I think
that's
at
your
that
last
last
resort.
last minute, if they could turn it around, I think they could. So that's how she passed.
She was in
And
pain.
yeah,
What was causing her pain? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh,
But
we've got a 10-minute warning on the meeting. So, but yeah, so what time is it? 3:18. So we've got until 3:28.
okay.
So gosh, I can't even, I can't imagine at this point in my life at 40 losing you, as
Uh-huh.
losing a parent, losing a loved one. I mean,
Yeah.
it was tragedy losing my best friend who I consider to be a sister. So
Mm.
at 5 years old to have to process, okay, not only is my mom gone, but like, did you know how she passed at that time?
I didn't. For the longest time, I thought in my head that she died of cancer because I know she had throat
She had
cancer.
throat cancer, right? Did
Yeah,
she have to
and
have her something taken out?
um, she had a trach
Tra-
for a while, but that was corrected. But she had skin grafts on her neck from the throat cancer, and yeah, so
That must have been hard. Did she lose her voice, like her ability
she
to
did lose
talk?
her voice for a little while, and she lost all her hair.
Mm.
And that was way back in the day. I mean, she had it from a young age, and then it came back again when she was a young adult. And I mean, maybe that was part of it. I don't know, but she
That's
went through
really
a lot.
scary to think about going through. How old was she when she passed?
26.
Oh my gosh. She was
Mhm.
46. She was 6 years
No, no, no,
old.
26.
Oh, 26.
26. 26. Yeah, she wasn't even 30 yet. Yeah.
Oh my God. You see, this
Yeah.
is why we get to be grateful today to be here, because not
Yes.
everybody gets to make it that far. And what a tragedy to and have your life be ended that early at 26. I can't imagine. But you still were able to come out of it and become a great mom. So was it hard for you to like learn how to parent without having your mom there for most of your life?
Well, no, not really. I mean, I think I learned a lot from my grandmother and other relatives watching them, but I made a lot of mistakes. You being the firstborn, I remember having you in one of those little holders, and the holders that they have are the little baby holders that they have for dolls. That's what they had back in the day. I had you. I was doing laundry, and I put you on top of the
I was
laundry basket.
really
I was going to
cool.
carry you up, and you rolled out of the laundry basket. I didn't know. You think I would have known better than to do that. But yeah, you went rolling out of the basket.
I'm so fine today. It's still
Yeah,
fine.
you
So
just learn.
how did she, I never have asked you, how did she commit suicide?
I think for medication,
And
taking
then
an
who
overdose of
found
pills.
her? Do you know?
I'm not sure exactly. I'm sure I know, but I can't remember. Um, I think maybe my grandmother or grandfather.
Wow. It's just, it's incredible learning about family history. I feel like there's so much left to learn there. You did the 23andMe thing, didn't you?
I
Or
did
the,
not.
the genealogy. I will not do it because I don't
See, I
want
won't do it. I
DNA
can't.
out
I
there.
can't.
No. So I'm good off sharing our, stories this way.
Yeah.
Like I don't want anybody like using my DNA to go like set me up for a crime or something. Like no,
Right.
no, thank you.
Yeah. Right.
Well, we're running out of time, but I do want to know, is there anything else that you would like to share or tell me as a person going into my 40s, maybe what it's like to age, maybe what it's like to be healthy, or like tips that you would give me so I could avoid making some mistakes,
Yes. I
hopefully.
would say I've learned a lot in the past year or so about having diabetes and being healthy.
Yeah. So
Because-
wait, hold on. You just found out that you had diabetes not too long ago, right?
right.
So
Right.
what was that like? Like, how did that come about all of a
I
sudden?
didn't know it was that serious. I don't know why. I
That's very frightening.
yeah, and I know people with diabetes. I just, I thought I could manage it well, but it takes a lot to manage it. I
Yeah.
mean, but the good thing is that I found what's healthy for me, what's healthy in food and what's not. And you just got to commit to that, to eat healthier, to take care of yourself more.
I think that is the note I want to go out on, because I think, and it's interesting because, people always think like, okay, well, only, if you're overweight, you get diabetes, but like you weren't overweight, you had gained weight because of the diabetes.
Yes.
So that was a strange experience for you. And I'm sure that's difficult for you, like having to, you're like, all of a sudden I have to change my clothes and I have to like figure out how to get, and then to get healthy again. Like that's really difficult. That's a huge thing for anybody to take on, even someone who's like young and bouncing around and like healthy. But like for somebody like me at 40, like that would seem like a lot. So how old are you now? 58?
58.
Yeah. So what did it scared you into changing for the positive? Because
It
you're always
did.
now like eating healthy, you're a vegetarian, you preached me,
Yes.
which I think is a good lesson to be learned.
Yeah. It's important to read the labels on your food.
Yeah, and be educated
Yes.
about what those labels mean and what we're ingesting, and
Exactly.
having physical activity, because the stress is also, stress and cortisol and all of that. It just, I feel like those are things I definitely need to focus on moving forward, because I want to be healthy and happy and heart healthy for the people in my life, and my husband, my kids, my family, my parents. I want to live a long and healthy life.
Yes.
So hopefully, I take your advice now, and so that I could avoid making some mistakes down the line that will take me elsewhere, because aging is a very serious thing. And like, I feel like eating healthy adds years to your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
And walking and a little exercise.
Yes.
And it's a good stress reliever.
Zumba and yoga. No one can see me that's listening. Well, listen, I'm so grateful that you made the time to come on, and I'm sorry that we're running out of time and we can't go that much longer. I appreciate that I get to spend my birthday with you today.
Yes, happy birthday.
Thank you so much. I can't wait to post this and share this with my friends and followers and community. Everybody's been so supportive today. I've received so many gifts and flowers and cards and messages and like emails from viewers and strangers. And I just feel so loved, and I'm so grateful. So I'm kicking off and going into year 40 with positive vibes only. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be healthy and happy. And, one thing I really love about this stage of life is that I am at a peaceful place. Like there was some crazy between like 25 and 35, like not, maybe 23 and 33 was probably I had a lot of ups, but I had a lot of downs, and I didn't finally like stabilize out until around 33. And then the rest of my 30s were like great and establishing. And then I met my husband and got married. And now at 40, I have the life that I dream of. I'm a morning news anchor. I have my beautiful, healthy family. I have amazing kids in my life. And I have a husband who respects me, loves me, supports me, and just treats me like I'm the only person on the planet, that he just really, like, I'm the only woman on the planet, and he has my back. So I feel like 40 is going to be the new 20 for me. This decade, 40s are going to be positive. And, I can't wait to see what happens. I can't wait to see what comes of it.
Full of possibilities, new possibilities.
I know. I really want to go to space, honestly. Like if I could have anything for my birthday, I want in my lifetime at some point to be able to go to space. Like, is that too much to ask?
No.
Eddie, poor Eddie, he has to like watch universe documentaries and like read books about, the eclipses and like asteroids and comets. And I love the universe. It's fascinating. And did you ever think about like, okay, I know we're running out of time, but like there's like, it boggles my mind. Like there are infinite universes. With infinite universes, like multiple. And like, imagine, my mind can't process it.
Yeah.
But on that note, I'm going to leave it there, because people are going to be like, this lady is cray. Like 40 is making her crazy. Just a little bit. Well, Mom, if people want to find you, if they want to follow you, if they want to connect with you on Facebook, social media.
Yes. Just look up Teresa Javid-Morales.
Teresa Javid-Morales. We will see you there. Thank you for the time. I love you. I appreciate you. And for everyone listening and watching, I hope you get out there, make it a great day, and say it with me, Mom. Don't forget to choose
Happy.
Bye.
Bye.
Choose happy.